who is really the third best team in the AFC? Who is the one team that could give the Chiefs or Ravens a run for their money? It's going to be, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm buying in. The Cleveland Browns, to me, are that team. I understand they won the Super Bowl of the offseason last year. A ton of hype for the Browns last year, and they fell flat on their face, going 6-10 last year. But what they did in the offseason, making a few adjustments, to me, I'm buying into the Cleveland Browns. I think they're legit for a few reasons. Here's why. Number one, they upgraded at the most important position, or second most important position, I should say, in the NFL, head coach. Freddie Kitchens, as we know, was hired last year basically because he was Baker Mayfield's friend. I'm not even faulting the logic, to be honest, because as we know, it's a quarterback league. So if there's an offensive quarterback, if there's a quarterback coach that the quarterback likes, right, and Baker Mayfield did like Freddie Kitchens, I don't have that much of an issue with the Browns actually pulling the trigger and making Freddie Kitchens the head coach. I think if you can placate to the quarterback, keep some continuity there, it helps. Obviously, as we know, Freddie Kitchens was really not ready to be a head coach in the NFL, completely overwhelmed. His play calling was predictable, dry, couldn't have any handle of the team, wasn't ready for the moment at all, and was not ready to lead a group of 53 men. Bringing Kevin Stefanski, I understand, another first-time head coach, risky. I think he's ready for it. I think the Browns realized the mistake they made last year. You bring a new general manager, Andrew Berry. You realize, okay, we got burned last year because the guy didn't know what he was doing, Freddie Kitchens. We can't make that mistake again. I do think Kevin Stefanski is a guy that brings some creative genius on the offense and is ready to lead a team. I think he's ready and understands what it takes to be a head coach in the NFL. I think that's a massive upgrade. They addressed their weaknesses in free agency and the draft. Their offensive line was putrid last year. They signed Jack Conklin, a great tackle to shore up the offensive line. They drafted Jedrick Wills Jr., a great tackle in the draft to really now they are starting to build that offensive line to be solid, to give Baker Mayfield some time. Their secondary last year really struggled. They upgraded that. They did make it better, and they upgraded. So that secondary should be better than last year. You look at the skill position overall, tight end, running back, wide receiver combined. And arguably, they have the best group, the skill positions combined in the NFL. Think about it. You have Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry at receiver. You had Nick Chubb, who almost ran for 1,500 yards last year. Think about that. He was 6 yards shy of running for 1,500 yards last year. Nick Chubb had a great year. You pair him with Kareem Hunt, who still has a ton of talent. They signed Austin Hooper to go along with David Njoku. That is, you talk about loaded. Running back, receiver, tight end, arguably the best combo in the NFL. I think Baker Mayfield, like I said, had a bad second year. I think that a head coach upgrade in Kevin Stefanski will really help bring Baker Mayfield along this year. And I think it won't be on his shoulders. Like I said, I really thought the play calling, the lack of preparedness from Freddie Kitchens really held the Browns back. But I'm buying in this year, to be honest. I am buying in. I think it's legit. Because the moves they made this offseason, they addressed their weaknesses. They saw where they needed help. And I think they realized they took a chill pill or a reality pill and saying, hey, winning the offseason is nice. Getting some nice draft picks, getting some nice free agents, making some nice trades is nice. But if we don't get the chemistry, if we don't have the right people there to use those pieces that we have, we're not going to do anything. And that's what I think you saw happen last year. The Browns weren't 6-10 last year because they had no talent. The Browns were 6-10 last year because they didn't have the coaches and the schemes that could actually get the most out of their players. Baker Mayfield shouldn't struggle when you have Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, who's an athletic freak. I understand he was hurt, but he's still very athletic. Two great running backs. Yeah, the offensive line struggled, and obviously it was a big part of it. And now you upgrade the coaching staff to know what they have and are able to bring the best out of the personnel that the Browns have. I'm buying into the Browns. I really am. I understand that was dangerous to do. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me sort of thing. A lot of us bought into the Browns last year. And now if I'm buying into it again, shame on me for believing it twice and both times getting let down. But I'm doing it, to be honest. I'm buying it. I think this is the Browns' year. And if there's going to be a team that's going to upset the Chiefs, that's going to upset the Ravens, that's going to be the reason that stand between a Ravens-Chiefs AFC title game, I think the Browns are the team. I'd love to get your thoughts. Who is that third best team in the AFC? Who is the one team in the AFC that is going to spoil a Chiefs-Ravens AFC title game? A lot of people think it's Cam Newton. I'd love to get your thoughts. If it is the Patriots, or I should say, not people think it's Cam Newton. A lot of people think it's the Patriots because they signed Cam Newton. But I'm not buying into it. To me, I think it's the Cleveland Browns by far have the best talent and are in the best position to really upset a few teams and really give both the Chiefs and the Ravens a run for their money. So I'd love to get your thoughts on Facebook, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. If you want to tweet us, WWSRN_radio on Twitter. Joe believes what I'm saying. Joe Sabrati again writes in on Facebook. Such a waste of talent of J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson's talents when it comes to the Texans, and I totally agree with him. But it's part of the reason why I'm not buying into the Texans as that team, despite having the quarterback to do so, to be that team to upset the Chiefs or the Ravens. And I want to kind of direct this next segment directly to you, the listener, you, the sports fan. Because a report came out yesterday from The Athletic. Daniel Kaplan does a great job of sports business at The Athletic. And he's reporting that the NFL is contemplating having fans sign waivers in order to attend NFL games this year. And those waivers would basically prevent you, if you go to a game and get sick and get the coronavirus, prevent you from suing that team, suing the league, suing the stadium for getting COVID-19. And then Daniel Kaplan also went on to say that NFL attendance this year is going to be dictated by individual teams and local government. So there's going to be no NFL mandate of no fans, 25% capacity, 50% capacity. So in theory, if you're in an area that's not hit hard, if you're in an area that's making great progress with the virus and really mitigating the spread, you could have 50% capacity. If you want to get crazy, 75% capacity or even close to full attendance. So it's going to be governed by individual teams, what they feel comfortable, with the risk they feel comfortable in bringing the amount of fans in, and local government, what will the government actually allow? How many people will they allow to gather at one time? And that would dictate the number of fans allowed in an NFL stadium, if fans are even allowed at all this year into NFL games. So I'm curious, asking you directly, would you feel safe if you had to sign a waiver to go to an NFL game? Would you still want to attend an NFL game if it meant signing a waiver, signing away your right to sue if you catch the coronavirus, if you catch COVID-19 while at the stadium, while at the game? Because to me, to be completely honest, where we are right now, seeing the cases spike during a time in the summertime when we were told up to this point that the cases will go down in the summer, right? That's all we heard. The two things that were supposed to be definite so far are that the virus will slow down in the summer because it doesn't do well in the heat, and that we are bracing and should expect a big second spike in the fall. So far, again, we're seeing a massive spike in a lot of southern states. So despite the heat being pretty high in Texas and Florida and California, we're still seeing some cases rapidly increase. So because of that, to be honest, I don't think I would feel safe right now. And honestly, it's really not even the surging cases right now, to be honest, because this is something that as we know, the coronavirus kind of changes by the second, right? One day things are going great, other day, the cases spike and the outlook looks poor. So it's tough for me to make a decision almost 2 months out, right? I mean, July 2nd, games are going to start in middle September, so 2 months away from whether I'd be safe to go to a game or not. But what's giving me pause, and why I feel confident answering this question right now at least, is that personally to me, I feel signing a waiver, especially for the NFL, would almost give a pass to some teams to cut corners, to basically act without punishment, and try to, basically squeeze in as many fans as possible in order to get as much money, recoup as much money as possible. And as we know, especially the NFL specifically, I mean, all four major league, any sports league, whatever it is, their main goal is to make money, right? Let's not be silly here. Their main goal isn't to put on entertainment. Their main goal isn't to win a championship if you're an owner of a team. Your main goal, the first motivation is to make a profit. The NFL we see takes us to the extreme because they are willing basically to do whatever it takes to turn a profit. They don't care how it looks optically. They will do and whatever it takes to make sure that revenue keeps on coming in, that bottom line keeps getting met, and those pocketbooks keep on expanding. So my concern about signing a waiver that takes away my ability to sue, or basically sign a waiver to have the teams, the owners, the stadium escape blame. It's honestly, I'm concerned that because this waiver is in place, teams may not follow all the correct protocols in order to ensure fan safety. Hey, think about it. If you were without punishment, if you had to sign something to basically say the team is not liable if you get sick or not, sure. I mean, I'm not saying some teams are going to be reckless, but I do question, to be completely honest, whether some teams would do everything possible to ensure safety is the first priority. So, yeah, to be honest, if teams are off the hook legally, I am skeptical, I am cynical that their first motivation won't be safety, it'll be profits. The more fans you get in the stands, the more money you make. As we know, for the most part, the NFL has been the least affected league so far, but I think we all expect that to change. Already, as we saw, 2 preseason games were cut, and so is the Hall of Fame game. So now, at most, teams are playing 2 preseason games. I understand this sounds like nothing. 2 preseason games, who cares? No one goes. But the reason why this is important is because now those preseason games are just at least one less home game for these fans to make money, or these teams to make money. The preseason is basically a money grab. In order to get season tickets, you have to also agree to buy tickets to the preseason. Well, now, one less preseason game, it's one less opportunity to bring people into the stadium, get ticket revenue, sell some merchandise, sell some T-shirts, sell some jerseys, sell some popcorn, sell some beer. And I hardly think that that's the last revenue opportunity for the NFL that they're going to lose. I am very skeptical and very doubtful currently right now with the climate that we're in that the NFL season will be able to finish, to be completely honest. Football, more than any other sport right now, I have my severe doubts that they'll be able to fit in a full 16-game schedule. So if that's the case, if owners basically, they start the season in September and basically, all right, we're just going to go and keep until we can't go anymore, I think they're going to try, I personally do believe this, to try to do whatever they can do to get as much money in that small section of time as possible. So again, if you have to sign a waiver, if they are off the hook, to let's say maybe they don't have to enforce social distancing, to now crowds are gathering, to where maybe they don't have as many workers cleaning bathrooms or ensuring that everyone is safe and having a good time, or that they overcrowd the stadium, instead of 50% level and 55 or 60%, to be honest, I do get a little nervous that a waiver comes into play that they are kind of off the hook. So yeah, so the waiver itself, I understand we sign waivers all the time, right? To be honest, I'm going paddleboarding after this. Yesterday before we went and signed a waiver. So I mean, sure, what are the odds that you get actually hurt paddleboarding? But it does happen, and you have to sign away your ability to say, listen, it's my own fault. Basically, if I get hurt, and I can't sue the company. It's not like this is the first time we're seeing a waiver or hearing about a waiver. To me, I just get nervous that this could be an ability for the NFL to skirt some blame. And by doing so, bend the rules to, again, try to, basically put profits over people. So currently right now on July 2nd, hearing that you might have to sign a waiver in order to get into a game, to be honest, I don't feel that comfortable going. I really don't. That could change maybe based on, again, we have 2 months before the season starts to see how coronavirus, the cases spread or not. We'll see what kind of guidelines that stadiums will impose. But the NFL, more than any other league, I feel like, does put profits over everything else. And that does concern me when it comes to public safety. Do you entrust the leagues, the owners, to put your safety above profits? Sounds cynical, and I understand. I apologize. I'm not trying to, really throw a wet blanket on anything, but I'm just telling you, keeping it real, telling you how I feel. I currently, right now, do not trust the NFL to have my best interests at heart. Do not trust the NFL to prioritize safety over maybe getting a few extra bucks in a season that could be stopped, in a season where revenues definitely won't be like they were in previous years. I'm concerned that they're going to try to get as much money as possible in the short term before or if things hit the fan and they're not able to finish.